In my first video, I alluded to a situation when I lived in the house with 5 guys. That's that story. I realized editing is really hard and I needed to take a break before my head exploded, and I'm gonna tell you that story now. So I moved into the house with the 5 guys and everything was great. It was like living in a frat house. Literally, they drank all night. We played beer pong, dyed my hair blonde in 24 hours. Do not recommend. I ended up having to get like 10-15 inches chopped off of my hair because I bleached it so bad it was beyond repair. And when I went into the Walmart salon, the girl was like, it all needs to go. And I was like, no, my head is big. I can't pull off a pixie cut. So she ended up cutting it about here, and it was longer than it is now. So that was a hot mess. I don't remember their names, and I'm sorry about that, you guys. But we're gonna call them Twin 1, Twin 2, Useless, and then Thor. So I guess there was only 4 guys, but those are the like main people. So Twin 1 was great. He actually gave up his room in the house. So me being the only girl would have a room to sleep in. Like, just let me keep my clothes in here and you can have my room. Useless was exactly what his name infers. He's useless in this story. And then Thor was obviously my boyfriend. And then Twin 2 technically was barred from the residence because of an incident that happened before I got there, before I knew any of them. But that he was living there like probationarily. Like if anything happened, he was out, but at the moment he was fine. Me, Thor, and Twin 1 all worked at Waffle House. Useless worked at a different fast food place, and Twin 2 had no job. There was a girl that me and Thor worked with. She was the other server for the most part with me, who was crazy, but I'm being just newly single and kind of in a quarter life crisis, not even, I was 18. She would sell me her pills for super cheap, and I was like, I'm gonna be a gangster. So I was like selling these pills to all the rest of the people who worked at Waffle House, because if you don't know, working at Waffle House is like being in high school again. Like, everybody hangs out with everybody outside of school, or work in this case, and like that's your social group and your work group, and the drama is all internal and everybody's dating everybody. It's a mess, but that's how it was. I had all this extra money and it was great. And then about a week into me living there, things just started going missing, like little things, and nothing of mine. So this is going on for like a week. Everybody's like, $5 is missing, you know, my pot's missing. I had 6 beers in the fridge and now there are none. And I'm just like, I think you guys are being dramatic. You probably spent your $5, you probably smoked your pot, and you probably drank your beers. Like, come on now. I don't think that he would steal from his own brother or his best friends. And they were like, you don't know him like we do, whatever. But Thor's like, just, we know what you're doing, just keep everything under lock and key because things go missing, apparently. So I was like, okay. So everybody else worked 3rd shift this particular night, and I was like, I'm home alone, I don't know what to do. Guess I'll take a shower and try to deal with this hair that never dries because it was so damaged that it just wouldn't dry. I'm back out and Twin 2 is there. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? You want me to make you something to eat or whatever? Because I have a tendency to mother everybody. It's just what I do. And he's like, no, I'm actually about to go downtown. And without a job, I was just like, okay, well, have fun. And he's like, all right, cool, bye. And he leaves. And I go in the kitchen and I make myself something to eat. And I go in my room and my bed is slightly moved. And that's where I had my stuff. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So I lift up the mattress and like $300 and everything that was under there were gone. So I go back in the living room and I'm like pacing around, like maybe I took it out when somebody came over to get it or whatever, and I'm like looking under the couches or whatever. And then Useless walks in the house and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, stuff went missing. And he's like, what stuff? And I was like, don't worry about it, because I wasn't sure if Useless knew. And like I said, he was fairly useless, thus the name. And he's like, well, if you tell me, I can help you find it. And I was like, no, it's okay, it'll turn up. So I'm like looking under couch cushions and everything, looking for it, looking at all the hiding spots, thinking maybe Thor put it somewhere when I wasn't like paying attention to make sure that it was hidden. Nowhere to be found. But I did find Twin 2's cell phone. And at the time, this was like a top tier cell phone. It wasn't like a cheap flip phone. So I was like, well, best case scenario, I have an insurance policy, you know? So Thor comes home, and I guess it wasn't a full third shift. It might have been like a split shift. Told me that Twin 2 left work early, but everything should be okay. And I was like, okay. And I told him what I was gonna do and what happened, and he's like, please don't do this. Please don't do this. And I was like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. What's the worst that can happen? Famous last words. So we're sitting in the living room and I'm just waiting. The bar's just closed and I'm just waiting for him to get home. And I'm sitting there and I'm sliding the keyboard up and down. And in he walks through the door, piss drunk, and he just starts searching the living room. And I'm like, what you doing? Sliding the phone, not even trying to hide the fact that I have it, sliding it up and down and up and down. He's like, I left my phone at home. And I was like, oh, really? And I'm sliding it up and down and up and down. Nothing. And he's looking all over. He's like, can you get up? I need to check the couch cushions. Sure. So Thor comes in and he's like, don't do it. So I sit back down because he didn't find the phone in the couch cushions, obviously. I sit back down. Thor sits next to me and I'm just flipping the phone up and down. He's like, are you going to help me? And I was like, no. Flipping it up and down, up and down. And he's like, you're such a bitch. And I was like, okay. He's looking and he's looking, and then he looks me dead in the face. Still not realizing that I have his phone in my hand, playing with it. He just looks at me, and then he clicks. And he's like, give me my phone. And I'm like, no. And he's like, why do you have to be such a bitch? Just give me my phone. And I'm like, no. He said, the fuck is wrong with you? So I went, this is gonna go one of three ways. You're gonna give me the money you stole and the money for the drugs. You're gonna give me the drugs and the money, or I'm gonna keep your phone. And he goes, and then he walks into the kitchen. And I was like, I guess he's giving me his phone. And he comes back out with a big ass butcher knife. And he goes like this with the knife and tries to stab me with it. And in comes Twin 1 to save the day and like grabs his arm right as it's like at my face. It's at my face. And Twin 1 comes through the door, grabs his arm, throws him down to the ground, throws the knife. Thor's still sitting there. Thor's just sitting there, and I am like shocked. Right? They're on the ground fighting, and Thor's just sitting there, and I guess it clicked with Thor, maybe he should not look like a pussy. So he jumps in, and they're like wrestling on the ground, and then all I see is blood everywhere. And I was like, dude, I gotta call the cops. So Twin 1 is like, all right, do what you gotta do. Just make sure everything is hidden. So I'm on the phone with the 911 lady, and she hears them fighting in the background. There's blood everywhere. She's like, I'm gonna stay on the phone with you until the cops get there. And I froze. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm safe. I'm in the bathroom and I'm safe. I've got, like, the boys are taking care of it. But if you feel that it's necessary to stay on the phone with me, and I run into Useless's room, cover the mouthpiece of the phone, and go, the cops are coming, hide everything. What does Useless do? He's useless. He did absolutely nothing. He went in his room and locked the door. And I was like, great. So now I'm holding the phone with my shoulder, talking to the lady, pretending like I'm still in the bathroom and safe, running around and like shoving things into couch cushions and like under beds and whatever, and like pretending I'm not doing all this. So the cops get there and they break up the fight, and I realized that the blood was because at some point somebody broke a picture frame and stabbed somebody. There was broken faces, which I'll get to, and Twin 2 took a chunk, not just like broke skin, he legitimately took a chunk out of Twin 1's arm with his teeth. Excuse me, what? We're all like separated, the cops like separated us all into different corners of the room, and I realized that Twin 1 has a giant gaping wound on his arm, and whenever I'm talking to cops, I feel the need to raise my hand. Look at one of the cops, and I go like this, and I go, can I go get the first aid kit so I can patch up twin one, because he's bleeding a lot and it's making me nervous and I'm uncomfortable. And twin two looks at me from the floor with a broken ass face and goes, "Shut the fuck up, you bitch." And the cop, big guy too, gets in his face and he goes, "Was she talking to you? I don't think so. Shut the fuck up." And then he starts screaming, "She's a drug dealer. She's a drug dealer. Don't buy her bullshit. She's a drug dealer." And I'm like, "No." And they're all like, "Shut up, twin two. No, she's not. Stop trying to get everybody else in trouble." And he's like, "No, check her room. Check her room. She's a drug dealer." And I was like, "I don't know what he's talking about. Do I look like a drug dealer to you?" And the cop's like, "It's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. Go get the first aid kit." So I go and I get the first aid kit and I like put alcohol on his arm and I'm wrapping it up. And he's still going on about how I'm a drug dealer. And the cops are like, "The fuck ever." So after we wrote our police reports, they ended up having to call 2 ambulances because both the twins needed severe and fast medical attention. Because, again, twin one had a chunk out of his arm, and we later learned in the hospital that human bites are the most likely to get infected out of any animal bite because we're dirty, disgusting animals. He needed to go to the hospital, but also between Thor and twin one, they smashed this poor boy's face in. Like, I get he was trying to kill me, but like, I don't know if it was just his one cheek or his nose or what. They broke something in his face. He was bleeding out of orifices and he was fucked up. But he tried to kill me. And he stole like around $600 worth of stuff from me, on top of what he stole from the rest of the roommates, which are his friends. So I didn't feel bad. Sorry, not sorry. And then I had the conversation with Thor about how I don't feel comfortable here. Like, even if he's barred from the property, he's already barred from the property. So it's not like that's been stopping him. I do not feel comfortable here. And Thor was understanding, and the rest of the story is all in the first video. So yeah, that's the story of how I was a gangster for exactly 5 minutes. Yeah.